Hey guys, James with TFBTV. True story, I'm here in Las Vegas on a family trip, and as I do whenever I go on a trip, I'll kind of call manufacturers that are going to be in the area that I'm going to be traveling to, see if they've got anything new coming out. So I talked to Rock Island Armory, and I'm here with John from Rock Island Armory. They've got a new gun, so I figured I'd stop by, check it out here at Range 702, right?
Yep.
In Las Vegas. So it was really cool of them to host us, and it was really cool of you to show up and kind of show me this new gun.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody your name.
So my name is John McLean. I'm one of the pro shooters for Team Arms Corps, and I'm also the sales manager and the product training manager for Rock Island Armory and Arms Corps.
So now you have to say, ho, 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 we have a new gun.
Ho, 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 we've got a new gun.
Tell us about it, John.
So this is a new firearm we just released. This is the STK100 from Rock Island Armory. This is going to be manufactured in the Philippines and shipped over. Now, if you went to a car dealership right now, you could buy a Ford Mustang GT, but you can't find a Model T anywhere, right? And yet the firearms industry, we have things like 1911s and revolvers that were designed way back in the day, and some slight modifications here and there have been done, but firearms industry, it's always a matter of you either have to get innovative to create something new, or find a way to make something a little bit different in a better way, and then if you can make it more cost effective, then that's exactly what you kind of want to do. And I think that's what we did with this pistols. We took a platform that a lot of people are very comfortable and familiar with, and we just kind of made some improvements, such as it having an aluminum frame instead of a polymer frame. So you get a little bit more durability, you get less flex, you can get improved accuracy because of that. And because we do it with aluminum machining, and we machine them in two pieces, we don't have to do this crazy CNC where we're trying to keep it all in one block. It kind of cuts down on the cost to manufacture it. So what we end up doing is we get this striker-fired pistol that has a very comfortable grip, very manageable recoil, and yet it's not going to cost the arm and the leg that most people would have to do if they wanted to take their own personal pistol that they may have and then try and do the window cuts and stuff like that.
Sure.
So STK100, it's 9mm striker-fired pistol that we just released. It's compatible with Glock magazines as well, so you can get the 17-round mags. So it also has a slide cut on the top that's already optics ready for the Vortex Venom red dot sight. So when you look at the slide, you've already got all these window cuts on the side and the top, and what that does is kind of help reduce the amount of mass that you have reciprocating back and forth, which gives you a little bit less perceived recoil, less muzzle flip, so you can get back on your target and get that next shot off quickly and accurately as well.
Why do I care to have window cuts and all this additional machining to the slide?
So one of the things that I've noticed as a competitive shooter for Team Arms Corps over these years is that as you progress as a shooter, you kind of notice those little things that can make a little difference, but in the competition world, when you're competing at the top level, little things can add up to be the win or the loss. By having the window cuts and the slide cuts in here, what you're doing is you're eliminating some of the mass that is going to be reciprocating over your hand through recoil. So basically, instead of having, just for example, let's say 20 ounces of weight shifting back and forth over your hand, you've only got 14 ounces of weight. So what that's going to do is going to kind of help reduce the amount of muzzle flip that you get and the amount of bounce back you get when the slide slams forward. And it's going to help you basically get onto your target faster, be able to stabilize the sights a little bit sooner, and squeeze the next shot off a little bit faster, and still be as accurate as you would with a pistol that didn't have it. So really, it's one of those things that, a beginner shooter, I almost kind of compare this to like playing guitar, because that's something that I did. When I first started playing guitar, it didn't matter if I picked up a Les Paul or a Stratocaster. I had no clue what the differences were. I didn't really hear any differences. They were guitars and they made noises. And then as you progress, you start noticing that this pickup has a certain tone to it. This one, and you start developing those things that you like. And that's kind of the same with the firearm. The beginner, probably not going to notice a difference if they shot, a standard frame or a standard slide and then put ours on top of it and shot it. Probably not going to notice a difference. But a shooter that really knows the feel of his firearm, once they get a slide on there that has less bass, I know for a fact they're going to feel and see a difference, and it's going to be in the positive. So any Glock compatible front sight will work for this. The rear sight is machined into this rear plate, so you're kind of pretty much set on that. That's probably something that we might even start looking into, as to how to either make these more variations of the rear sight. I know some people don't like the flat black, they prefer to have the 3-dot sight picture and stuff like that. So that'll be something that we probably look into in the future. As of right now, we've just got a flat black serrated rear sight that's part of the plate cover, and then any compatible Glock front sight will fit in here. You've got a good solid trigger that has it's got some take up just like most triggers do, but then it's got a really solid wall, a clean break, and then a very positive reset, unlike something that might feel a little mushy or maybe a little bit too soft. I mean, this one, when it resets, you can definitely hear it and feel it. So that's good for the shooter as well. I mean, a lot of the aftermarket parts that are out there will fit inside here, aside from the magazine release that is not interchangeable. It has to stay on the side that it's meant for. But
let's just call it what it is. I mean, this gun's similar to a Glock. I mean, and you could almost say, I mean, there are some differences that it's a Glock clone. Aftermarket components, accessories, we're talking about Glock compatibility.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they're interchangeable. Like I said, the only thing that doesn't interchange is going to be the magazine release. But other than that, I mean, and that to me, kind of, I feel like majority of people out there probably own one already. And aftermarket parts are readily accessible. They're fairly affordable and I don't want to say cheap because I hate that word, but affordable.
I mean,
right?
they are, yeah.
They're cheap, but I mean, they're well made still.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, so it really kind of gives shooters the opportunity to turn this gun into exactly what they want. You don't have to send the slide off to some company to have them do $300 or $400 worth of mill work to get what our slide already has, which is the optic ready portion of it, and then like the window cuts and extra serrations and stuff. So I mean, I think this firearm is great across the board. There are certain guns that are meant for competition. There are certain guns that are meant for self-defense. There are certain guns just for recreational. I feel like this gun covers everything. You can take it out and shoot it with your buddies just for fun. You could take it to a match and shoot it if you wanted to, and then you could use it for self-defense or even law enforcement purposes. It's the platform, and it's a platform that most law enforcement agencies, military personnel and stuff, they're comfortable with and familiar with. So I mean, I just feel like this firearm is going to really take off.
So let's talk about parts compatibility then. I mean, is it safe to say that with a Glock you've got 90% or more parts compatibility?
I'd probably say that, yeah. I mean, there might be certain parts out there that maybe need to be a little bit of fitting and tuning and stuff like that to get it in, but for the most part, it should.
And are we looking at like a 19 size or a 17 size frame?
It's gonna be a 17 size frame.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
so you'll be running the 17 round mags, which I have here. That's the curse of being a guy that has too many pockets on his pants, right? So yeah, so 17 round mags. This is the one that will come with the gun, but any Glock magazine for 17 will fit.
Trigger, barrel, I mean, if I want to modify that, it's already out there and I can get it.
Correct.
Speaking of compatibility, let's say I'm one of those guys that doesn't like an aluminum frame, because you're making this in only aluminum, correct? Like
correct.
Frame. So let's say I want to use a polymer frame, or like I've got like a Polymer 80, or like any of those Glock compatible frames. If I have, say, I'm assuming it's a Gen 3 Glock 17 compatible frame. If I've got that, I can just pop that slide on there, correct?
Yes. Yep, you can just take it off, throw it right on, and now you've got all the, like I said, you've got the window cuts, you've got the reduced mass and all that kind of stuff. You got the optics ready mount on it, and you get to put it on the frame that you're comfortable shooting. But now something else you might notice that's a little bit different about our frame is that the grip angle is a little bit more like a 1911, so you're gonna get that natural point of aim, point of impact kind of thing going for you. The other thing you'll notice is we already have that extended beaver tail in here. It's not something that you have to put on with another accessory, but it's already machined in there. So as far as holsters go right now, because it's a new gun, we haven't had too many manufacturers start making them for them. You will be able to find some on the Advanced Tactical website, which is our retail website for the STK100. And we definitely hope on working with some of the major holster manufacturers to get some made for this firearm as well.
John, MSRP $599 for this, correct?
Correct.
There are a lot of striker-fired handguns that are already on the market that are kind of hitting at that same price point. Why would I buy this instead of one of those for $599?
So I mean, I really believe that having an aluminum frame is going to be a little bit more durable. It's going to be a little bit more rugged, can take more of a beating. So I think that's one plus. The second thing is that normally when you buy those other firearms, you're getting their base model, and there's not a lot of accessories or things that you can do to it without having to send it off and getting it machined by someone that you trust. Then you void the warranty with that company and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I feel for the same price point, you're getting actually maybe $200 or $300 more as far as what you can already do right out of the box versus some of the competitors. So I mean, I just feel that you know, it's going to be a gun that a lot of people are going to look at, and I mean, like you said, as far as the compatibility, like even if they just want the upper end of it, the upper end has a lot of work already done to it that a lot of people would spend hundreds of dollars to get these slide cuts and get the slide refinish so that it's got that, you know, rust protection and stuff like that. But here it is, it's already set, it's ready to rock and roll, not to mention it's already covered by the limited lifetime warranty. If anything ever happens to this gun, it doesn't work, it malfunctions, it breaks or anything like that, the warranty is not based on the first buyer like some companies do. The warranty follows the firearm.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't matter if this gun transfers to you and then you give it to your son and your son gives it to their daughter and then the gun breaks, it's still covered by the warranty. So the company will fix it. If we can't fix it, we'll replace it.
The slide construction, what's the slide made out of and how's it treated?
So the slide has a Parkerized finish and it is constructed out of 4140 high grade steel.
In terms of variants that you're introducing, are we talking about only one that we're doing a Glock 17 size with an aluminum frame with an optics cut and that's it? There's only one version, or are you introducing multiple versions?
At this point, this is the only version we have. We're definitely not opposed to adding some different sizes and stuff like that. I mean, we're very well aware that you know, people like having different sizes for different applications, such as if you want to use a self-defense concealed firearm, you're going to want one that's a little bit smaller and stuff like that. So that'll probably be something that down the road we'll definitely be looking into. As of right now, this is the only one that we have.
Talk to me about takedown, field stripping.
If you've ever owned a Glock or ever shot a Glock and you've ever taken down a Glock, exact same thing. So you got the takedown pins, you pull down, you know, pull back on the slide a little bit, pull down, slide comes off, pull the other three parts out, and easy peasy.
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, pretty much exactly.
Exactly.
Sure.
So
okay.
Don't get me wrong, I've shot polymer pistols. You know, once you get the stippling gripped on there, they're pretty hard to want to trade out. But I've shot that aluminum one, and like I said, between the aluminum frame, which adds just, you know, a little bit more weight to the bottom end of the gun, and then the lightened slide, man, it's hard to almost justify taking that gun apart and putting it on a polymer frame when it shoots so well as it is.
Convince me why I want an aluminum frame instead of a polymer frame.
Like I said, I mean, there's just so many options to it as far as the durability of it. You know, it's if you drop it, it's not going to get dings and gouges in it. If your dog gets a hold of it, he's not going to gnarl it and all that kind of stuff. You know, so this firearm is shipping out to distributors as is. So basically, right now, your best bet: go down to your dealer. That's a local Rock Island Armory dealer. Have them put it on order with their distributors, and if they need to, they can come direct to us as well.
So there may be people out there who are not familiar with Rock Island Armory. Tell us a little bit about the company.
So there's something very interesting that I've noticed in the firearms market that I don't really see in other markets, and that's this concept of thinking that price equals reliability. It's, you know, if you go to one car dealership and you find a Ford Taurus for $18,000, and you go to another car dealership and you find the same model Ford Taurus for $17,000, no one says, I'm going to go buy the $18,000 one because it must be more reliable. They go for the $17,000. Same thing with ammunition. If they go to the ammo shelf and they're looking for target ammo, they're not necessarily looking for that $22 a box when there's an $18 a box right there, right? So they go to the one that's more affordable. And then for whatever reason, that switch flips when they get to the gun counter. And they'll look at a competitor's 1911, and then they'll see my 1911, and my 1911 may be $150, $200 cheaper price-wise, and they'll think, oh, I'm gonna go with this one because that must be more reliable. When you see the price of the Rock Island Armory pistols there in the gun counter, understand that it doesn't mean that we've lowered the quality or the standard of the firearm. It's just cost us less to manufacture it, and we're bringing those savings over here. Then again, you bring in the fact that we have that limited lifetime warranty that covers the life of the gun. I mean, if anything happens to it, send it to us. We want to fix it. We don't want anyone to be out there to have a firearm that's not going to be reliable and that they can't trust their lives with or the lives of their friends, family, and loved ones. We're continuing to grow and expand our lines. We're not just trying to be a one-trick pony either. You know, we want to expand out. We've expanded out onto the revolver series. We've started with the striker fired, and this is something that you know, you can look forward into the future is we'll be looking into manufacturing some firearms here in the U.S. as well.
Very cool. All right, John, that's a perfect spot to end this interview. Thank you so much for coming out to meet me here.
Absolutely.
And thank you to Range 702 for hosting us. Thank you to you guys for watching. Take care.